Hello and welcome back to Mr. Miller's Art Room. Today we are going to be working on the Chinese dragon. Chinese dragons are a lot different than European dragons because they mean completely different things in the Chinese culture. Not only do European dragons look a little different, they're usually larger in body and more lizard-like, but they also represent danger and power and evil. Very often, the Chinese dragon also represents danger and power, but not necessarily evil. They're usually seen as forces of nature and have ties to the elements of fire, earth, wind, water, heaven. Today I'll be showing you how to use basic shapes, just like we did with the European dragon, in order to create the Chinese dragon. I'm going to be showing you two styles. One where we utilize an overlapping line and shape in order to give the Chinese dragon a little bit more depth. Before we get started with drawing the dragon, Mr. Monocle, would you mind going over the supply list?
Absolutely, Mr. Miller. First, you will need a 12 by 18 piece of paper. Then you'll need a Sharpie, pencil, and eraser. Now that's for our second grader. For kindergarten through first grade, you can use a dark crayon.
The first step is that we're going to draw the head of the dragon. Now, we need to save some room, so before we start to draw, we really want to use our mind's eye and our brains to think, how are we going to move the shapes around so everything fits? I want to put the trapezoid head right here.
Trapezoid? Who said anything about a trapezoid?
Well, that's the shape that we're going to use for the head. The reason is that it gives it a sloping, slender look, but it's not too pointy. A trapezoid is basically a triangle with the tip cut off. I'll show you. We're going to go from the center, up and up. We need to save some room at the top and some room at the sides for his spines. So what we're going to do is draw a horizontal line, then two diagonal lines, but don't let them touch. Make them about the same length, and then draw a line across horizontally to connect them together. The first style that we're going to work on is the one where the dragon's body loops around and overlaps itself. What we're going to do is take our pencil. We're going to point at the corner, this corner, the left corner of the trapezoid, and we're going to draw a long curved line that loops around, back, and stop. We need to stop right there because we're going to then take our pencil, go here and make a parallel line that curves around, back over here. Oops, if you go off the page a little bit, that's okay. Just put your pencil back, and then we're going to stop. The reason that we stop is because we're going to pick our pencil up and pretend to move our pencil as if we were still drawing the line. But when we get to the other side of the shape, then we can put our pencil down and continue to draw. And I'm just going to put a little curve in there like this. Now we need to finish it by going to this part of the body, pick up our pencil, pretend to draw as if we were going to draw, put our pencil back down when we get to the other side of the shape, and then continue to draw and converge these lines.
Mr. Miller, you mentioned two vocabulary words that seem important to me. Parallel and converge. What again does parallel mean?
Parallel means when two lines are next to each other but going in the same direction. Converge means when the lines slowly get smaller and smaller and come together at a point. They're converging. So these lines are both parallel, going in the same direction, and convergent, getting smaller as we go on. The next step is going to be drawing some of the details around the head. For the eyes, we're going to be utilizing a semicircle. Up here where the eyes would go, we're going to draw two diagonal lines like so. Then we're going to create semicircles from them by drawing a curved line around to touch each point of that line. That gives him some very fierce, strong-looking eyes. The next step is we're going to draw his nostrils. We're going to draw two diagonal candy canes, basically. It's like a hook, and then we'll come in through there. That way he can breathe pretty well. The next step will be to draw about 6 spines on the side of his head. 1, 2, 3. If yours are shorter or longer, it doesn't matter, that's fine. If they're not completely symmetrical, which means they look the same on each side, that's fine. Not having them completely symmetrical actually helps to give it a little bit of a movement. Now, Chinese dragons also tend to have these two like long wispy mustache looking things. Really, they're more akin to the feelers on the mouth of a catfish than anything else. But I like to think of them as kind of a mustache.
Yes, me too.
So what we're going to do is go down here to the bottom lip, and you can make this curve any way you want, but I'm going to come down, up, and out. And then I'm going to come down, up, and out. They don't have to be completely symmetrical, which means they look the same on each side. Then I'm going to draw parallel lines that converge together. Parallel means they're going in the same direction, and convergent means that they come together eventually. Now, I don't like this area where this mustache is touching the end of the tail, so I can either get rid of the end of the tail or move the mustache. I think it'd be easier if I just kind of erase this little bit here and make that look nice. We're going to do the same thing down here, which is creating the legs using 2 curved lines, 3 curved triangles, 2 curved lines, 3 curved triangles. Wherever they seem to fit, that'll be fine. And because we are using pencil, you can erase anything to make them fit. Now what we're going to do is draw the dragon's belly, which is going to be very much like the belly of a snake. What I'm going to do is draw a line that follows down the dragon all the way across and stop, because remember, we're overlapping. Pick up our pencil, pretend to draw, get to the other side, and then put it down. Then we're going to continue through. And it gets a little skinny there, so you can just leave it like that. After that, what we're going to do is add these lines. These are like belly plates. They are scales, effectively, and they help protect the snake, or in this case our dragon, from getting damage when it's rolling around on the ground, though dragons are magical and they fly. Dragons have lots of scales. Scales are also there to protect the dragon, but instead of drawing 1,000 different scales on this, what I'm going to do is draw just a few scales all around the dragon to make it look like he has a lot of scales. The way we do that is with the letter U. The scales very much look like the letter U. So if you make scales in groups of 3, 1, 2, 3, you draw 3 U's, draw 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all along and down the other side of the dragon's body, you're going to have him look like he has lots of scales. The very last step involved is going to be using the Sharpie in order to create permanent lines for these pencils. That way, when we go to paint it or color it, we'll still be able to see the line. Remember, when we're using the Sharpie, if you're using it, take the cap off, put the cap on the back of the pen. Don't press super hard, and don't draw on yourself on purpose.
Interesting.
Then what you're going to do is you're going to start to draw over top of your pencil lines. You're going to do this all over. Now, there are some points where maybe you don't want to trace over a particular line because it might look better when you erase the pencil marks, because that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be erasing some of these pencil marks. So, for instance, if you take a look at this spine right here, this spine goes across the body like so. Instead of inking this body line, eventually I'm going to be taking this eraser and erasing it out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make all of this. Once you hit it with the eraser and clean up all the extra pencil lines, you're going to be ready to paint. Next video coming up for the Chinese dragon, I'm going to show you a couple of different variations on painting your dragon. Thank you very much for watching Mr. Miller's Art Room. Please like and subscribe and have a good day.
We said good day.